So I wanted to bring an issue out to you that's not going to be very popular with some of you. Others of you will be in total agreement. Others of you have no clue that there's an issue with what I'm about to speak about. But hopefully this will help educate you for your future. The bottom line is we have many issues with today's youth. We have a lot of video games. We sit a lot at our desk at school and even at work as adults. But we're speaking generally to kids here, young athletes. Texting is obviously popular with kids sending thousands of those things a month. And beyond all those, beyond obesity and laziness and too many video games and texting going on, there's another issue that a lot of people don't really consider. And what that issue is specializing in one sport too early. And that kind of coincides with maybe not specializing too early, but once athletes do specialize, they don't take the correct precautionary measures to make sure that they're protecting their joints, for immediate impact and then long-term as well. And, basically the bottom line is, this goes out to parents and athletes. Hopefully parents are in control of the home. I know that's not the case in many situations. That's unfortunate. So, if your kids run the household, I'm speaking to the kids. Otherwise, I'm speaking to parents here. I understand that when kids want to do things, parents want to give it to them. There are times where kids say, I want to play, I want to play, I want to play. Okay, fine, that's what they enjoy doing. But you don't really realize what's going on inside of these young athletes' bodies by specializing too early and not taking the correct precautionary measures to make sure that they're not injuring their bodies short and long term. First of all, kids need to be kids. Kids need to run, kids need to jump. They need to play on playgrounds. Now and then, they're going to fall. They're going to break bones. They're going to get hurt. It won't kill them. Playground injuries aren't usually that serious. Unfortunately, we have babied and coddled kids at such a young age that they grow up, first of all, to be spoiled. They get exactly what they want. There's no structure. There's no balance in their life. It's all about them. They're really self-centered. And that's why you see kids in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade with cell phones, walking around constantly texting their friends. And, I don't know what they could possibly be talking about at that age. It can't be that important. So, but that's a whole other video. Back to the subject, some of the best athletes of all time were multi-sport athletes. Many played, basketball and football, or football, baseball, basketball, baseball, track and another sport. And a lot of that's been lost lately. And I've got to bring this out, and this is where a lot of the AAU coaches and some sports coaches are going to hate what I have to say, but where educated strength and conditioning coaches who are seeing more and more repetitive use injuries are going to love what I have to say. And a lot of this is too much AAU, too much off-season playing of the sport that kids play. Now, let's say you decide that you want to play an individual sport in 7th grade. Okay, fine. I don't recommend it. I think once you get to the high school level, you can usually decide, and at that point, pretty much know what direction you want to take if you have college potential, and that's all great. That's good. But let's say it happens even younger. The problem is some of these kids are playing basketball in their school season. They start practice in October and they go to March. They head straight into an AAU season. Then they play in a summer ball out of town. And then they play a preseason AAU. And before you know it, these kids are playing hundreds of games a year. Not just the basketball, but baseball and various sports. And the problem is what it does to your joints. And let's think about it. Carpal tunnel is a repetitive use injury. People have surgery on carpal tunnel in their wrist thousands of times a year. It happens. That's from loading parts into a box or from typing on a computer or using a mouse. What more are these athletes doing to their bodies when they are running on a basketball court 300 to 320 days a year, when they are swinging a baseball bat and throwing, completely putting that shoulder in internal rotation, literally thousands of times a year, and never doing any external rotation or rowing to build that upper back or the rotator muscles. And so what I'm saying is, if you're going to specialize in a sport early, parents, kids, get in a good, fundamentally sound gym, a strength and conditioning gym, not a little sissified studio. get somewhere where your trainer, your strength coach knows what they're doing. They're working on deadlifts, squats, bench press, push-ups, rows, chin-ups, the fundamental exercises. They're going to make you strong, and they're going to help protect those joints, and over the long term. The repetitive use injuries, about 50% of athletic injuries are repetitive use. From tenosynovitis, bursitis, tendonitis, all of those are inflammation of joints, joint capsules, and that type of thing. And what those come from is the same movement patterns over and over and over. And what happens is it's a warning signal from your body to say, hey, I don't like what you're doing. Send inflammation to this area to let you know there's a warning signal, there's pain. Unfortunately, here's what we see. Kids throw on knee braces because their knee tendonitis is flared up because they just played 150 basketball games in 10 months. So they put a knee brace on. Oh yeah, it feels great with a brace on. Okay, fine. What are you doing to that joint? Have you stressed that joint to a point to where sooner or later it's going to blow out? The knee's finally just going to give out. Something has got to give. The more strength you can add around that joint in the quads, the VMO, the calf, the hamstring, the whole posterior chain with the glutes, and everything else, the better off your knee and hip health is going to be, and the fewer issues you're going to have. Unfortunately, the money-hungry AAU coaches encourage these kids to play year-round. No college coach will ever look at you unless you're here, unless you're there, unless you're there. And while that may be true to a point, I still understand, that these kids are going to wreck their bodies, and what happens is they get to college or later in high school, and they're injured anyway, and they can't play. Whether it's in their regular season, or if it's in their AAU or their summer-type program or off-season program. And so what they have to do is start taking better care of their bodies. How do you do that? Take time off, okay? My daughter plays volleyball, and immediately after volleyball season, she went into a travel league. It was about 6 weeks long. From that point until summer program started with weight training and all, she took almost 2 months and didn't play any volleyball. She was in here, she was working out, she was correcting imbalances, trying to make sure that she was strong, increasing her speed, her vertical, and her overall strength. And by doing that, she's performed well once her summer program started, right into season getting ready to start. So, unfortunately, the regulations I know in Indiana allow coaches within a certain guidelines, they can coach these kids year round. And it just encourages kids to only play that sport. And unfortunately, there are a lot of coaches out there who believe that these kids should play their sport year round. They discourage kids from playing other sports. Now, I do have to say there are other good coaches, and I know a few locally, who suggest that you play other sports. Break those repetitive movement patterns of playing the same sport all the time. If you're not going to play multiple sports, get yourself in a gym. Make sure that you're getting yourself strong, you're correcting imbalances, you're staying away from those movement patterns that gave you the tendonitis, the ones that repeatedly strained a groin or a hamstring 3 to 4 times over a 2-month period. That was your body trying to tell you, this just isn't working. You're wearing me down. The soft tissue, the connective tissue, the tendons, the ligaments, I can't take any more of this, and I'm just about to go. Work on your skills. The problem that kids play so much, they get in a groove of just playing. So their bodies are just going through the motions. I heard a very well-respected coach lately had said to one group in one of his camps that he did, an athletic coach, that kids are playing too much of their sport and not working enough on their skill improvement. Now, in addition to that, they should be in a gym or at least at home doing some sort of weight training, strength and conditioning to prep themselves while they're working on their skill development in the off season. So just keep that in mind, folks. This isn't a beat down for anybody. This isn't to make you feel guilty. This is to hopefully educate you and make you understand, we're wrecking our kids' joints. That's the bottom line. You may feel great now, kids, but I'm telling you what, parents, I know they're young, but you've got to take care of their bodies. You only have one. You've got one of each joint. Take care of them, all right? This is Brian Poe at Poe Performance. Hope you learned something today, and check us out at poeperformance.com.